Hello, hello, hello. It's been a minute, long time, long time. Um, Today I wanted to make a quick video about I guess we're going to title this one "The Art of Listening," or the importance of listening, or listening and comprehension, something along the line. Now, the question is, what is listening? You know, if you anybody that knows me knows that I'm a sucker for communication or for talking just in general. I like to talk. I'm more extroverted than the average person. Like, I'm the person that would probably you'd hear a lot of my words, but you know what, I also like to think that I listen a lot. Maybe not as much as I speak, but I definitely listen, and I listen to understand, because I had to learn that in my industry, if I'm going to do what I can do, which is, DevRel and a lot of things, you've got to be able to listen. But the thing is, there's difference between listening and understanding what is being said. And there are reasons as to why sometimes we mix up both. If you can just listen to what someone is saying quietly, congratulations, your ears work. I can't remember who said that. I didn't coin that term. I think it's the guy, James Clear, I believe, right? No, or Simon Sinek. Congratulations, your ears work. Your ears work, it works. But did you understand what was being said? So there's an app I use a lot, which is called Clubhouse, and it's an audio app. And with Clubhouse, what ends up happening is, because we cannot see each other, we can only hear each other. Then you start to see, first of all, I don't think most people actually are bad at listening. No, most people intentionally refuse to listen. This is what Clubhouse taught me. And there was a few days ago, we were having a conversation on Clubhouse where I said, so a young lady asked a question about mentorship. Mentorship. You how do you get a mentor? What are some of the good ways? So I remember people were chiming in. So I said, the best way is to serve. And I've made a video about that on here, is to serve. Look to serve. So one of the other ladies that were having a conversation was like, as soon as I said serve or service, she just jiggled a little bit. But I've had multiple conversations with that specific lady. There were two people. Well, there were multiple of us, but there were, I guess, two people. One person was really active, which was the person we were having a previous conversation about. And she said serve. And she didn't like the way the term got talked about. And then there was another lady who I've had some exchanges with, that, we've had previous exchanges with, and maybe not so pleasant exchanges. And that's fine, in the sense that maybe she didn't like what I said. And when you use something like Clubhouse, you would come across people like that you say something they don't like that one day, and they would use it as a yardstick of how to approach you in every single conversation. And to some degree, we all do it. There are people that I've heard say rubbish, and every time they're speaking, I have to make the conscious effort that this person has said a lot of rubbish. Let me try to see if there's sense in what they're saying. If not, if I don't do that, then I get into this defensive mode where everything they want to say, I just want to find a way to like brush them off. So it's a conscious thing that I have to make. But that's because I recognize that their opinions are not a reflection of them in totality. Just because they said rubbish one day doesn't necessarily mean they say rubbish all the time. Although that's the case for some specific people. But anyways, I digress. So we had that conversation, and so I said to serve, because the point I was trying to make is, if you want to look for a mentor, and I'm somebody that I would call myself a mentor, unofficially, officially, doesn't really matter. I actually get paid to have that title. I know people reach out to me probably on a weekly basis. I'm talking about tons of people. Some days in a day, I can post one thing on social media and I'm getting hundreds of approaches. So over time, I've seen people that want me to be their mentor, that kind of thing. I've seen people that have successfully gotten my attention and we've spoken. And the difference between the two people is, one set of people come from the angle of serving. Hey man, obviously I've got something I want to learn from you. There's a reason I'm contacting you. I think you're dope, right? That's how they come across to me. And so I need to know what you're doing. I want to know how I can be of service. I'm looking to just listen and understand what you're doing. I want you to tell me what you're doing versus me telling you, you know, this is what I need from you. Because by me listening to you, I'll probably get a lot of ways to solve a lot of the problems I'm having. Or I can then contextualize it properly. This is how I see. So it's always worked that the people that come with the perspective of service, right? And the word service has one meaning. But because that particular person, once they heard service, they just assumed I was saying like some slavery type of thing, some in exchange. And I'm like, you could have asked, but they were just like service, and I was like, no. They tried to like cut me off, and I was like, no. I chose my words very carefully. I know what the hell I'm saying. I heard the word I use, which is serve and service. That's exactly what I meant. Now I have something I mean. And I think most people listening to me that don't know who I am would not have that preconceived notion of what am I meaning. But because this person potentially, maybe, most likely has already some either negative or something, so they want to insist that their understanding is the supreme understanding. Now the other person was just like, can you please clarify what you mean by service? Because she knew that, okay, surely you cannot mean the negative thing I'm thinking in my head. So for me to be sure, I need to clarify. That's how honest people have honest conversation. And the funny thing is, just before that, we were just talking about that with that person that said, can you please clarify? We're talking about how to have a good conversation. And then this other person comes in and shows us how to not have a good conversation. So we finished doing that. And that other person just said, service feels like you're obliged and everything, which are words I didn't use. So when I see that happening, I don't actually answer those people, because then you get into this place where this is not what I said. The person I was speaking to understood what I was saying. That's the most important thing. And the person speaking probably has never mentored anybody, right? Probably, maybe has never even had mentors. I don't know. But it becomes this, either it's an ego thing, and we all do it in the sense that we have an understanding of something and we want to insist that I did. So we tend to have these conversations not in good faith, because we're listening to what is being said, but we're not trying to understand what is being said. We're listening. So we hear, but we don't listen. Hearing and listening are two different things. So when you hear something, especially in English language, now it's your job to try to understand to the best ability what that other person is saying, which means you always have to grant the person good faith. So here's how that conversation that I've gone up with that person is like, service, what do you mean? What the other person, the first lady did? Okay, no, because what I'm hearing is you're saying service. Like, can you please just clarify that? Or wait, actually, the best way is to let the person finish and then you can ask those questions. But even if you were interjecting, like when you say service, you're not meaning like, like in terms of like some slavery type of thing, like, they insist, that kind of thing. Oh, no. They can clarify. But they wouldn't do that, because when they do that, then they're having the conversation in good faith. And it's very important you identify such types of conversations, because they're a waste of time. Because you get into this cyclic thing, then you leave the whole conversation, which is you're actually trying to advise somebody. And now you're talking about what context is service being used here, So it's almost like, I don't want to understand you. You have to make me understand you. And it's very harmful, right? Our words are dangerous, but your understanding, it is your, like, to who gets the onus of understanding here? Is it the person speaking or the person listening? And I always say, as a listener, it is your job that when you have confirmation of understanding from the person saying something when you don't understand it. Like when my mom should call me, okay, mommy, this is what you want me to do, just to confirm this. You're confirming that you have fully understood what has been said, and that you and this other person have the same understanding. Versus listening, having something that I always say, whenever I listen to someone and I have an overly positive or overly negative, non-neutral understanding of what's being said, I it's a red flag. Someone is saying something, I'm overly excited. Oh, everybody, we look to promote everybody, let's say. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna get double my salary, but the promotion comes as 2%. No, I need to understand. Okay, when you say promotion, can we figure out figures so that I can set my expectations? People don't do that. Or we're gonna lay off some of you. How many people? When? That kind of thing, oh, they're gonna fire me. No, you have to understand what is being said, and that's for you to seek clarity. And it's an art that I think is dying out. And I think social media, because of the TLDR, everything is short, bite size. So you fill in the blanks. What I've started seeing is a lot of people are reading the same way. They're filling in the blanks as well. And it's actually very, very, it's what separates, if you're not able to understand complex information and process it, and know that, okay, maybe I'm not quite clear on this, or this is my understanding of that further confirmation. That's a skill that you're going to miss, because you're really going to struggle with to have really contextual conversations with people, and especially because our emotions get involved, right? So we want to insist that our emotions are supreme. And I always say the only thing you can really control is your emotion. You cannot control what another person says. What I've been able to in my life is that I've been able to listen to people say things I don't like, because I actually say things that people don't like. And I think that's the only way you can truly learn. If I'm agreeing or disagreeing all the time with people, there's nothing to learn there. I need to at least be able to agree somewhat or disagree. Because when I'm disagreeing all the time with people, like every single time, we cannot come to any kind of like middle ground. Somebody somewhere doesn't want to have a conversation. If I'm agreeing with you as well all the time, somebody somewhere maybe does not want to have the conversation. The first is a maybe. The second one is a definite. So I need to be able to see synergy, see where you're coming from, and agree with it, or maybe understand it and still say, okay, you know what, it doesn't work for me, or that kind of thing. So it's very important. You need to learn how to have those types of conversations, and that will require you to listen to people that you do not like. You're not going to like them. You're not going to like what they're saying, but you have to be able to listen to them. And as soon as you hear something that triggers you, you should also still be conscious of that and be like, doesn't sound right, but I'm going to wait and I'm going to download this information and process it. Very important. Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I believe without that skill, you're not going to go very far, especially if you want to work with people. You're not going to go very far. You are not going to go very far. Communication is key and important. And this is also not an excuse for the people speaking to use words carelessly. I do think you also have to be tactful. But then, different people come from different languages. Some languages are listener-oriented. Some languages are speaker-oriented. And, you got to be able to know when to apply what. Anyways, I don't know who needs to hear it. Listen better. Listen carefully. Sunny.